The election results continue here on WCIA 3 News, your local election headquarters.
Good evening, I am Jen Lask, and we are continuing to monitor the latest results coming in and what that will mean not only for our state, but also for our country. And with that being said, we want to begin by bringing you the latest updates on the U.S. Senate race. And we just got these results in. You may have heard them at 7:55 if you were listening to Paul, Jessica, and Jennifer. But Dick Durbin has been declared the winner, and we are going to kind of break down some of that for you. Now, Durbin has said if he won, he wanted to be the Senate's majority whip if the Dems were able to win the Senate overall. Now, that he has called the race for Dick Durbin, but as of just a few minutes ago, the Associated Press says roughly 12% of precincts were reporting. Now, Durbin has received roughly 51.1% of the votes so far. Now we're at 12% precincts voting on that. And this is going to be his 5th term in the seat. He defeated 4 other people for this. Of course, the one that they were watching the most closely was former Lake County Sheriff Mark Curran, the Republican challenger to that seat. Now, that is the Senate race. We are still awaiting results on some key races, including the 13th Congressional District. That's something that Mark Maxwell has been watching closely, and we will continue checking in with him throughout the night on that race. We are also following the state income tax amendment, but as Lindsey Jones broke down earlier this evening, yes, we are expecting results to be coming in more slowly for everything across the board because this is such a unique election year with mail-in ballots being so much higher in numbers compared to previous years. But that also is something that will be slowed down on the results for the fair income tax debate as well, simply because of the nature of that bill and what is required to figure out how that is going to be moving forward. So we're going to be checking in with Lindsey Jones on that later on tonight. But we do want to, before we turn things over to our anchors for a live cut-in coming up at 8:24, we do want to show you something that I think is a really positive story coming out of Election Day. We know that things have been a bit tense for people throughout the last several months leading up to tonight, but this one is a good story. Some people will not let anything get in the way of going to the polls, and as Demi Ramirez found out for us, that includes a 102-year-old woman in Farmer City.
Helen Halcombe of Farmer City arrived at her polling site determined to cast her vote. She was born over a century ago during a pandemic, and now she's living through another one.
At first I thought I'd do an absentee ballot, and then I thought, well, I'll just better get myself in gear and get out.
Her neighbor, Mary Jane Franklin, drove her. Franklin says Halcombe does not get out much, but voting was something she wanted to do.
I think it's our duty, and if you want people in office, you have to go and vote. You can't sit at home and say, well, I'm not going to vote.
Halcombe has been voting since the 1930s and says she can't quite remember her very first election.
I was trying to think of that this morning, and I don't remember. Of course, it'd be a long time ago.
But what she does remember is the reason she is voting.
Well, I have a lot of grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and I want a better future for them than it's looking right now.
2020 is a historic election for many reasons, with bringing out large numbers of voters, and Farmer City is no different. Halcombe wasn't the only one determined to vote. Nicholas Becker recently turned 19. This is his first time voting in a presidential election.
When we vote, we express the right of what we want to have done in our country, and I feel like no matter what your political views are, that you should have that right.
In Farmer City, I'm Demi Ramirez, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
That's something that I absolutely loved seeing earlier when it was live at 6:15 on WCIA 3 News, and I knew that if you weren't able to catch that on air, we had to share it with you tonight because I think it's such a positive story, both for the 102-year-old woman, Halcombe, which Jennifer Roscoe noted she was born just before the 19th Amendment gave women the right to vote. So this is just incredible to see how she has turned out each year to continue exercising that civic duty that is so important for each and every one of us. And I also love seeing the youngest generation of voters coming out as well, and that's something that I hope that we can share more stories about throughout this evening and throughout the days to come as we hear from more of these voters, both old and new. And we are going to be wrapping up in just a couple of minutes here with this digital live stream. But before we do, I want to give you a little bit of a preview of what to expect in about 45 minutes at 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock on WCIX and WCIA 3 News. Jessica Coons is showing us, how things are going to go tonight.
I'm rolling.
Hey everyone, Jessica Coons here, and I am in our new studio. If you haven't seen it yet, we do have a new studio, and it's new for this election. I am standing right now where our old desk was. So in past elections, the anchors would be sitting at the desk reading the results, but this year will look different because we get to move a lot. All right, so I'm gonna start moving here. We've got our new desk. We do have chairs here, but we don't really use them anymore because it's easier to move around during a newscast when the chairs aren't there. So you will not see chairs there tonight during the 9 and 10 o'clock newscast. We're gonna keep moving past the other chair to the big wall. We will be able to have graphics in here tonight that'll look really great, easy for you to read at home, a really great addition to our coverage tonight. We're gonna keep moving. We've got more wall over here. We'll be able to use this for more graphics. We can pop up reporters in here from their live locations, and we'll be able to have analysts here, and they can be social distanced. We have a setup that we bring in to have them here. We can ask them questions, and then we also have another monitor for more graphics and more video opportunities. So a lot of fun stuff in this set, different from our previous one, and we look forward to seeing you tonight at 9 and 10.
All right, and we will be wrapping up here because in just 3 minutes, our anchors are going to be taking over on air and on our digital platforms as well. So just a couple minutes now, so you can jump up, stretch if you need to, and then sit back down because we are going to be bringing you all the updates.
This is an election night update from WCIA 3 News, your local election headquarters.